Hello, hello, everyone. We are live talking some Survivor. It is officially Pi Day, 3.14159265 something. It's as far as I can go. Actually, I had a girl today because I teach school. She actually stood at the front of the class and said 100 digits of pi. Impressive. But we just concluded our episode of Survivor over here on the East Coast. I don't know. Do they play at the same time on West Coast? No, they probably wait till 8 for West Coast, similar to Big Brother and other reality shows. Hello, Melissa. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, I try to go nice and quick with these recaps. Like I said, they're going to be pretty quick. It's just me. If you'd ever like to hop into any of these recap episodes, I just run this through Google Hangouts, so feel free to hit me up on the Twitter machines at Visoki Tweets. I need to make a little banner that I can put over here on the bottom, just Visoki Tweets right at the bottom here. But no, so this episode was actually very, very exciting. Like, this is an episode that reminds me why I got into Survivor in the first place, because it's the drama. And I really like how who's messaging me, man? Charlie sending me a photo. No, but I really liked the challenges. There were 2 challenges in this episode. Not as many and not as much like sitting around gossiping about stuff, which I like. The drama is good. The reality TV side is good with it, but I like watching the challenges. For me, that's my favorite part of the episodes. By the way, remember, we've got a live chat going on right now. So if you're watching live, feel free to hop in chat, talk with me, ask me questions, put in your comments. I always talk through chat. And if you are watching post live, so if you're watching after we're concluded, put in a comment there. Try to hop in right after the episodes on Wednesdays. Justin says, wish I had a good camera on my CPU. I could help you out. Yeah, that's all. I love like bouncing ideas off people, which is great in chat, Justin. So like you can type in chat and you say something. It's like we're having a conversation back and forth. People just stare at my ugly mug, which, by the way, don't grow up. Things like this, they grow just this 2 days. I hate this. I got to shave again. It's itchy. All right, so let's start back with the recap. So like I said, we had 2 challenges. So we actually kicked off with a challenge, and it was basically a luxury challenge for was it peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Justin says, I hear you. Cool. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and milk, I think it was. They might have got like cookies. I don't know. Every time I hear milk, I always think it's cookies. But I think it's PB&J and milk, which is great. Lots of protein. The only thing I could think of, and maybe I'm weird for thinking this, maybe you guys thought this or not, they're out there like eating rice and other things that don't really have much flavor. So I don't know. I feel like they might really want a PB&J, but you got to think like how sweet jelly probably tastes with like the extra sugar and stuff that's in jelly. Maybe they used like a really organic kind of jelly, but don't you think it'd be like really sweet if you were to win that? Like you'd probably bite into it and be like, oh, this is going to be great. Just like I remember at home. And then I'd probably bite into it. It's like if you haven't eaten candy in a while and then you go to eat candy and you're like, wow, this is really sugary. Like I had a kid the other day give me a sweet tart during class. I hadn't eaten a sweet tart in a long time. And it was honestly kind of gross because I don't eat much candy. Justin says, why did he change his immunity choice? Threw me for a loop. We'll get to that. Same, Melissa. I will agree with that. So anyway, Navidi wins again with the original challenge, the luxury challenge. So they get PB&J. And we end up following the Navidi tribe with all the drama for most of the episode. Now, this is where CBS, they kind of tricked me. I said last week, generally you can tell who's going to end up winning the immunity challenge based on the storylines going into it. And since all they talked about was Navidi and how they wanted to get rid of Chris, but Chris got sent to Ghost Island last episode, and him and Dom have this thing against each other. I was like, okay, well, Navidi's going to lose the challenge. They're going to go, and that's going to be the storyline we get. Ended up not being the case, but it looked like it was going to be the case. This was one of the best challenges I've ever seen. Okay, not because of it was creative or anything. It was a lot of the same. They got to swim out, grab a thing, and come back. Which, by the way, the luxury challenge, that was violent. Kind of liked it. People had to swim out and grab rings. You were in groups of 2, and it was either 2 men against other 2 men, or 2 women against 2 women. What's her name? Laurel? Is that her name? Yeah, Laurel. She like crushed that competition. She was carrying 3 girls on her back to get the point for her tribe. Like, the girls that she was with, it was different each time. Like, they were just getting carried. Melissa says best comeback ever. Indeed it was. And she's talking about the immunity challenge. So going back, so now we're ahead. We're immunity challenge. Navidi versus Malolo. They all had to swim out. They had to climb, they had to reach this cage that was in the water. Once they all reached the cage, they could climb up over the cage. They had to retrieve a chest from underneath, open a door, like open a latched door underneath, and then they had to drag the cage through the water, and then climb out of the water, drag the chest up. Justin says the best strategy for the challenge would be to put the hoop around yourself. Yeah, I wonder why not as many people did that. See, Justin, you would have won. So anyway, Navidi ends up having some real trouble with their door, trying to get it open at the beginning of the challenge, and that sets them back quite a bit. You can't really tell in these because CBS is good at editing, like how far behind or ahead teams are in these challenges, because they try to make it, exciting. But when they pan out to the camera of like Malolo almost all the way back to the beach and Navidi still like just getting their chest out of their cage, it's like, oh, this is a massive gap because you can't swim with that thing very fast. So Malolo gets up. They're working well together. They get all the way up to the last part, and Navidi is like halfway to the beach, maybe with their chest. And all they have to do then is they have 5 balls. They look like bocce balls. If you've ever played bocce, and you just throw them up onto like this windowsill type deal. Like, it's obviously not a window, it's double-sided, but it's just say the bocce ball is about this big, and the windowsill is like very, very thin, has a little tiny notch, but the ball will sit there if you get it just right. Malolo ends up getting 3 balls up there pretty quickly. 1 gets knocked off. They get it up to 4. They knock another one off. They get it to 4 again. Then Navidi finally gets up to their ball part. It looked like Navidi was going to give up on Chris at some point, because they wanted Chris gone. And Chris was like trying to drag back there was a piece of the ramp, the track that they had to push the chest down. He's like trying to do it on his own, and like everyone was like standing around watching him. It was weird. But anyway, they eventually got up there, and Malolo just had to get 1 more ball up there, and Navidi had to get all 5. I believe it was Sebastian and Brendan were throwing for Malolo, and neither of them could get that very last one up there. It was a little heartbreaking because I really like Sebastian. If you guys didn't know, where me and Charlie and Rick, who has been on some podcasts before for Big Brother, we're like the 3 amigos. We grew up not grew up, but we lived together. They grew up near the Sebastian Inlet, Sebastian was named after the Sebastian Inlet. Now we all have moved out of that part of Florida, but it's kind of cool. When the very first episode, when the guy was like, "Were you named Sebastian after Sebastian Inlet since you fish?" And he's like, "Dude, you got me pegged." I was like, okay, these guys are awesome. I love these guys. So I love Sebastian. It was heartbreaking to see him keep missing over and over again. And sure enough, Navidi comes up and gets all the balls up there. They get all 5 before Malolo can get their last one, and Navidi pulls off the huge comeback victory. I believe it was #huge comeback that CBS was trying to push. And man, very very big comeback. Justin has a quick question. He says, I have a question not having to do with Survivor. Have you ever seen Dragon Ball? Yes, I was more into Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. It was one of those things every day I used to get back. So I'm 25. So I'd say like when I was in like middle school, Dragon Ball Z was pretty popular. And it was always on like the 6 o'clock block for whatever TV channel used to have it on. So it was like I'd get home and I'd do my homework for middle school, and then while eating dinner, my mom would let me watch TV, and I would Dragon Ball Z was always on. So I need to go back and rewatch them though because those were great. So Navidi wins. Malolo's going to Tribal Council. It seemed like it was going to be a pretty boring lead up to Tribal Council because the old Navidi people that came over, they've got 5. The old Malolo has 4. So they were going to stick to their 5 and stick to their 4. And if you can't budge that 5, then that's just how it is. But then we remember that we're reminded that Michael and Brendan have an immunity idol. Technically, it's Michael that found it, but whatever. They found it together. And they're like, okay, well, we got to play it. We've got a 1 in 4 chance because we want to use it on one of our 4 people. We'll all vote for Bradley, who they're saying is the ringleader of everything. And let's hope that we play it on the right person. We got a 25% chance to get it right. So the 5 old Navidi, they said, all right, we need to pick someone to vote for. We shouldn't vote for one of the girls because Malolo are going to think, the old Malolo are going to think that we're voting for the girls. So just in case they do have an idol, they'll play it on one of the girls and we'll be fine. They get to Tribal Council and Michael stands up and says, I have an idol, and it's good to protect 2 people because there's one of the James idols from China and it's worth saving double, which was a lie. It only saves 1 person. But yeah, it was a bombshell. One of the best Tribal Councils I've ever seen. Put in chat, what do you guys think of this Tribal Council? Because I thought, like, Michael won me over, man. I really, really like Michael. I think they are. I think he's fantastic. I like all 3 of the remaining Malolo. I guess that spoils it a little bit, but whatever. That's what you're here for. You already watched the episode, right? They really started getting to Sebastian a little bit. Basically, their plan was, oh, we're going to tell them that it saves 2 people, meaning they get a 50-50 shot. And they were also saying Chelsea and Sebastian, it's obvious you're on the bottom and Bradley will get rid of you quickly. And when Jeff asked Sebastian, is this something that you're taking to heart? He's like, yeah, I need to think about some things. At the end of the day, Sebastian actually stuck strong. So did Chelsea. They did not flip their votes. And they all voted for Brendan to go home. And that's what happened because Michael did play the immunity, but he played on Stephanie thinking that they were going to vote for Stephanie. So the old Navidi, their plan rang true. Which is kind of odd because I don't know. So old Navidi, they knew that they were going to vote again. The 5 knew they were going to vote for Brendan the whole time, which is odd because I don't know. It's like, I feel like the old Malolo, like Michael and Brendan, kind of played themselves because if they wouldn't have said anything and just played it, they would have assumed that the other side of the tribe was going to vote for a strong person. But since they announced that they had the immunity idol, then all of a sudden that means, oh, maybe the other side will be more likely to flip their vote and vote for one of the girls, and then we're going to play it for the girls. And they thought one step too far and played it on Stephanie, thinking they were going to play for the girls. But old Navidi, the 5, they stuck to their guns. They voted Brendan like they said they were going to, and Brendan went home. So, yes, it was a waste of an idol, which is always kind of a shame to see. It would have been really cool to see Bradley go home. I think CBS is painting him as the bad guy, which I'm okay with. I mean, let's be honest, the guy's studying to be a lawyer, right? So people generally just don't like lawyers all that much. If you're a lawyer, I like lawyers, but a lot of people just see lawyers as kind of like the slimy, guys in suits. Justin says, I think his immunity change was crazy. Yeah. It looked like he was going to give it to one of the girls and then switched back. He literally told Brendan, I think the vote's Stephanie. And then he actually And then he stood up and he's like, I'm going to play it on me and Brendan. Oh, actually, I'm going to play it on Stephanie. And it's like, oh, all right. Melissa said he's a douche, complains about everything. That's in talking about Bradley. Yeah, I mean, they had it nice over at the Navidi camp. What can you say? I mean, they got the shelter building stuff day one. I mean, that's nice. Justin says, I think that there could have been a tape edit. Yeah, it's possible. Melissa said, thought they swayed Sebastian. Yeah, I really thought that they swayed him. The way that he was talking, and I mean, it's a good edit on CBS's part, but man, they had me going. And the way they played the votes was great too. They showed all 4 votes for Bradley right off the bat because we knew that the 4 votes are going to be for Bradley. They already announced that during the discussion. And then they showed the 4 votes for Brendan. So normally, if they hadn't had all the stuff with Sebastian, they would have said, oh, and they showed Sebastian's, like, not his vote, but they showed him talking, saying, I don't know what just happened. And they showed the 4 votes for Brendan. So then it was tied up Bradley and Brendan. And then the last vote came in to vote out Brendan. So it's still a good edit. It got you on the edge of your seat all the way to the last little bit. So that was a really good job by CBS editing. A good attempt by Michael. I mean, he knew that he had to play it. He knew that this is going to be one of those nights where you're going to look back at the end of the season and you're going to say, wow, that really did change how the whole game went. Like, if this would have flipped and then all of a sudden next week, Malolo, like the five, like it's now tied up 4-4. Like then we could be going to rocks. It could be so interesting. Justin says they would have still strung it out if Brendan was voted off. Yeah, exactly. So that's why they had you. It's like, oh God, who did Sebastian vote for? But great job by then. Any other questions about this episode? I'm trying to think of other stuff that we touched on. Anybody that you guys are starting to really like more, really like less? Like I said, this made me like Sebastian a lot more. I really like Dom. It looks like, because Dom was kind of on the outs with Wendell on the other tribe, on the Navidi tribe, but like Laurel really wants to work with Dom now. She doesn't want to go with Chris. So I'd say I really like Dominic and Laurel working together. I really thought Laurel looks great in challenges. I talked last week. I'm not really a huge fan of Chris. So yeah, Melissa says I'm for Dom and Sebastian. Yeah, I mean, I love both of those guys. I really like Laurel. And it's cool because usually like the girls that are like super competitive and stuff like that, usually they don't have much social and stuff, but Laurel is really, really impressive. Like I think she can go really far until the other girls start seeing her as a huge threat. But right now, those other girls are in a position because most of the guys, actually all the guys really on the show are known more for their brawn rather than the brain, with the exception of, I guess, Bradley. And so the guys are all physically gifted enough, whereas the girls, like let's say on Navidi tribe, I mean, you go down like, so we've got Wendell, Angela, and Libby. I mean, none of those 3 are nearly as athletic as Laurel. And so when it comes to these competitions where they have to have women going against women like they did in the first challenge, the luxury challenge, they want Laurel to be there too. They don't want to just lose every competition against the girls over on Malolo, because you look and I mean, the girls on Malolo, like they're ready to play. I mean, Chelsea's a little on the weaker side. I think she's the one that they had sit out of the challenge. So if you like Dragon Ball Z and have bad mouth, I think you should look at Dragon Ball Z Abridged. It's funny. I've seen some people do that, and I kind of need that, man. I teach middle school. I hear more cussing than I should, but still not as much as I heard when I was going to UCF when I was in college. So yeah. Anyway, man, I'm gonna go watch some videos. It's 9:30 right now. The time change is finally setting in with my body. I haven't been able to sleep at all over this past like week since the time change. Let me know right now in chat and in the comments if you're watching this after. I plan on adopting a cat over spring break. Okay, so I've got school tomorrow. Friday, I'm painting. I was sawing PVC today for 2 hours. That was great because I have to build a set for my Broadway program. And over spring break, so like Saturday, I plan on going and adopting a cat, or at least going down to the shelter and kind of looking around. I'm looking for like an older cat. I want a couple things. I want you to give me like 3 things that you think I should have in a cat. I want you to tell me what color cat you think I should get. And 3, do you think that I should get one? So I live by myself. Should I get one really chill cat that's like older and just kind of wants to be on their own? Or should I get 2 cats that are a little more energetic that can keep each other company? Because that's not fair. If I get a cat that wants company all the time and I'm gone because I work all the time, it's not really fair. Sorry, this turned into the Visoki Cat podcast. Oh, and then the last thing, do you guys want me to do a live stream when I get my cat? You want me to do a little vlog? I could upload a vlog of me playing with my new cat. You guys can get a sneak peek into my house. Right now I got laundry all over my couch. It's folded. I just need to put it away. That's my life. Start out with 1 cat first. All right, Justin, I'll take your advice. But put in the comments, hey, we've had another like. Someone came for the cat podcast. Welcome. People are like, thought this was Survivor. Oh, man, get a little bit of everything here. Hit me up with the tweets. Oh, big thing I forget to say on the podcast, on the wrestling podcast, man. Go look on Twitter. There is a Visoki Entertainment March Madness ESPN bracket challenge up right now. Search Visoki Entertainment, just like the name of the YouTube channel, on ESPN, and join it so we can all have our brackets busted together. I'm literally telling you, even if you don't watch college basketball, the higher seeds, the closer you are to 1, the better the team is. The closer you are to 16, the worse the team is. 12s beat 5s all the time. 13s beat 4s all the time. Just pick mostly 1s, 2s, and 3s, and pick a couple wild cards in the first couple rounds. And that's how you'll win the challenge. But anyway, if you're watching this back or you're watching it live, I hope you have a fantastic night. I'm one step closer to spring break. I get to watch The Sound of Music again in my class because I'm treating my kids because they did well at MPA. So, all right. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and click that little bell so you know when we go live. And until next time, guys, Justin says Villanova versus Penn in final game. Shh. I picked Villanova to win. All right. I'm out.